Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something really critical. We're analyzing a major strategic guide about AI-driven career shifts and really how technology is fundamentally reshaping roles, looking specifically at 2026, our mission. To pull out the key insights you need, whether you're trying to future-proof your own career or you're a leader figuring out the next strategic move. Now, before we dive deep, I want to mention that this deep dive is brought to you by AI Opportune. Think of AI Opportune as your fast track to the future. It's where ideas meet innovation. They guide, inspire, and importantly, equip you with the insights and tools to turn AI theory into actual action. If you want to stay ahead, seriously, subscribe to the AI Opportune newsletter. You get real-world tools, frameworks without the fluff, and tested AI use cases right in your inbox. It's about staying one step ahead.
And staying ahead strategically is really the name of the game here. The core theme, based on our sources for 2026, isn't the simple story of AI replacing people. Not exactly. It's more nuanced. It's about AI replacing tasks. And that is what's driving this huge structural shift, a reallocation of talent and capital across the board.
Okay, let's unpack that phrase, strategic reallocation. Because when we hear about big layoffs, the gut reaction is just, oh, cost cutting. But these sources are painting a different picture, aren't they? These are resource pivots. AI is becoming the backbone of how companies operate next gen, and that forces them to shift money and people towards, well, AI research and implementation.
Exactly. And what's striking is how deliberate these moves are. They're not just cuts, they're direct investments in the future. Take Microsoft, for example. They cut, over 8,500 roles? That sounds like a lot, about 4% of their workforce. But that capital, that freed up resource, it's immediately funneled back into doubling down on AI R&D, expanding their Copilot tools massively. So it's not really about shrinking, it's about focusing, sharpening the focus.
And it's not just the tech giants, right? It's spreading. Look at finance, JPMorgan, trimming 12% of operations staff. And their leadership is being pretty open about it. AI is changing how they handle risk, marketing, trading, even software engineering fundamentals. So those roles aren't vanishing because the bank is failing. They're changing because the actual work is being automated or augmented.
Precisely. Or look at Intel, making deep cuts, but specifically to refocus their efforts on AI chip design and also on key areas like edge compute products, which for anyone listening, edge compute just means moving processing power closer to the device, away from big data centers.
Oh, okay.
Which is crucial for real-time AI applications.
Right, that makes it feel less like a temporary dip and more like a permanent reshaping of how things work. Spotify trimmed about 1,500 roles, all to speed up AI-driven personalization, their discovery engines.
Yeah.
Even Adobe, in the creative space, cut around 1,200 roles to push their AI tools like Firefly and Sensei GenAI harder and faster. The message seems pretty unavoidable. AI isn't just an add-on anymore. It's becoming the core operating system for business.
It really is the strategic imperative now. If companies don't get aggressive about automating the repeatable stuff, they simply can't free up the resources, the money, the brainpower needed for the R&D to stay competitive with cutting-edge AI.
Okay, but here's the flip side. If the big players are strategically shedding some roles to refocus, that must create a huge opening for smaller, more agile teams, right? Let's pivot to that power AI gives to startups, lean teams. The sources talk about massive leverage, like letting them punch way above their weight class.
This is really the heart of the opportunity, both for founders and for individual professionals listening. AI doesn't just trim costs, it creates exponential leverage. It's a force multiplier. Teams that figure out how to integrate AI effectively. They're not just keeping pace, they're dramatically outperforming teams stuck in the old ways of just hiring more people for everything. And this point is so critical, we have to keep saying it. Workers who use AI won't be replaced by AI. It's the people who don't adapt who are at risk.
That's the key distinction. So practically, day to day, where are these smaller teams finding that leverage? Using the tools available now, like in 2026.
Well, a big leverage point is just getting rid of the first draft problem. Think about a solo founder. They need marketing copies, sales emails, maybe even code snippets for a prototype. Instead of hiring specialists for each, they're using advanced LLMs, GPT-5, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, Gemini 2.5 for rapid drafting. They can generate tons of variations, whole chunks of text or code almost instantly. They become like a mini agency of one person.
So instead of paying a salary for those initial drafts, the founder's time shifts to editing, refining, adding that crucial human judgment to what the AI spits out. But that does raise a flag for me. Are we swapping salary costs for like huge security or even liability risks if AI is generating complex stuff?
That's a really important consideration, and the sources definitely highlight it. The generation part can be automated, yes, but the human loop, the oversight has to remain. You manage the risk because the founder or the expert on the team is still the final editor, the final approver. They catch the errors, the biases, the weird outputs. And on the ops side, we see similar leverage. Ops leads using tools like Notion AI, Reclaim.ai, Zapier AI, automating routine admin tasks.
Like onboarding, scheduling.
Exactly. Things that used to take up tons of human hours. Now maybe a small ops team of 3 can handle the workload that previously needed 5 or 6 people.
That changed the whole cost structure. And there's a real-world example from 2026 in the source material, right? A small SaaS startup.
Yeah, a 14-person company. They used ChatGPT Enterprise, specifically trained on their internal info, to draft all their customer onboarding docs and FAQs.
And the result?
Pretty significant. They cut the time it took to onboard new customers by 55%.
Wow.
And crucially, they did this without hiring more ops or support staff. It's a clear case. Targeted AI use equals leverage equals growth, without just adding headcount.
That kind of success story really brings us to maybe the most important part of this.
Yeah.
What are the essential skills needed now in this AI era? If AI is replacing tasks, like you said, then success really depends on knowing how to co-pilot the tech effectively. We need more than just buzzwords. We need specific skills.
Absolutely. Generic advice like be adaptable isn't enough anymore. The sources point to 4 core skills, and they're more about systems thinking than just knowing how to use one tool. First up is deep AI integration. This isn't just about writing a good prompt. It's about really weaving multiple AI tools, maybe GPT-5 for text, Claude 3.5 for analysis, Midjourney V6 for visuals into your daily workflow. So one person can genuinely produce the output that used to require a small team. It's about becoming a super producer.
Okay, deep integration. What's next?
Second is having an automation mindset. This is more active. It's the ability to constantly scan your own work, your team's work, spot the bottlenecks, the repetitive stuff, and immediately think, right, how can a machine handle this reliably? If you're still manually compiling that weekly report the same way every time, you're missing this mindset.
Makes sense. Number 3.
Third, and this one's maybe the trickiest, is human-AI teamwork. This goes beyond just editing AI output. It's about designing workflows where AI does the heavy lifting scale, data crunching, but the human stays in the loop for the critical parts. Nuance, ethical checks, judgment calls, context. Like auditing the AI suggestions for hidden bias or just plain factual errors. That's something machines still struggle with, and it's vital.
Okay, so integration, automation mindset, human AI teamwork.
Yeah.
And the 4th.
The 4th is something like adaptive systems thinking. Look, the tools change so fast, almost monthly sometimes, so just staying curious isn't enough. You need to grasp the underlying structure, how these AI models fit into existing systems, into your company's data flows.
So maybe understanding basic APIs, data governance, things like this.
Exactly. So you can actually connect the dots, make different tools work together efficiently, and understand the broader implications.
Right. But there's a counterpoint here we need to address. The sources mentioned a 2026 Tech Republic study.
Yes, that's a crucial reality check. It found that 54%, more than half of companies that did these AI-driven layoffs, later admitted something interesting. They realized they'd underestimated how effectively they could have reskilled their existing workforce. It suggests that maybe some cuts were too hasty. They undervalued the institutional knowledge, that human core they already had.
That really underscores the need to be crystal clear about where humans are still absolutely essential.
Yeah.
Where does pulling the human out too fast just lead to problems, to regret?
Yeah, the sources are pretty consistent on this. It boils down to tasks needing subjective, non-quantifiable skills: empathy, complex judgment, trust. Think customer support. AI is great for FAQs, basic troubleshooting, handling volume. But for the really tough emotional conversations, the ones that make or break customer loyalty, you need a human. You simply can't automate genuine empathy.
Or in education, maybe.
Definitely. AI can personalize lessons, drill facts, adapt pacing. Fantastic tools. But a teacher, they guide motivation, they coach critical thinking in ways AI can't replicate yet. They build that classroom culture. That's essential for deep learning.
And at the leadership level, ops, strategy.
Same principle. AI can analyze data, run scenarios, make predictions like never before. Powerful support. But the final judgment call: balancing competing priorities based on company values, coaching people through change, building a culture of trust. That's inherently human. Trust, especially, is built between people, not with algorithms.
Okay, so we've mapped the landscape, the leverage, the skills, the human element. Let's bring it all together. What's the practical action plan? What should listeners, founders, professionals actually do based on this 2026 outlook?
Right, let's get tactical. For founders and team leads, the advice is pretty clear. First, invest in training your current team. Don't immediately think you need to hire specialist AI people. Train your existing folks on the basics. Good prompting, how to integrate tools, the ethical considerations.
Start with the team you have.
Exactly. Then start small but smart. Identify your biggest bottlenecks. Where does work get stuck? Where is time wasted? Run focused tests. Maybe automate generating first drafts of reports or use AI for initial screening and hiring. Or like that sauce example, automate documentation. But, and this is key, always keep humans in the loop for review, for auditing, for the final decision.
And those small wins can really add up, can't they? There's another example, a B2B startup.
Yeah, they save something like 20 hours per manager per week.
20 hours? How?
Just by using Reclaim.ai to automate scheduling all their one-on-one meetings and Notion AI to help draft the initial versions of performance reviews. Think about that.
Yeah.
20 hours back per manager every week. That's time they can now spend on actual coaching, strategy, high-value work instead of admin.
Okay, that's powerful for leaders. What about for individual professionals listening? What are their concrete steps?
For professionals, it's about taking ownership. First, commit to getting competent. Don't just read about AI, use it. Pick one major tool, GPT-5, Claude 3.5, whatever makes sense for your role, and start using it daily. Seriously, every day.
For what kinds of things?
Drafting emails, summarizing long documents or meeting notes, brainstorming ideas, analyzing data sets, maybe even helping write simple code snippets if that's relevant. Integrate it. Second, stay adaptable. Follow the trends, see what new tools emerge. And third, crucially, grow your network in this space. Join relevant Slack groups, participate in LinkedIn discussions focused on AI in your field. Share what you learn, see what others are doing.
It all seems to come back to that Michael Dell quote mentioned in the sources, doesn't it? About AI making us more effective as a species, but only with humans steering the ship.
Exactly. Guiding, questioning, adapting, that's the human role. So the big takeaway really is this. The companies and the professionals who thrive in 2026 and beyond, they'll be the ones focused on enhancing people through AI, not just trying to replace them with AI. The real goal should be automating the drudgery, the sludge work, to free up our time and brain power for deeper thinking, creativity, and human connection.
So for founders listening, maybe the takeaway is, stop thinking about hiring just to fill an old job description. Instead, ask, how could AI amplify this role? Could this person, with the right AI tools, be 2x, maybe 5x more effective? Hire for augmentation.
That's it, precisely. Augmentation, not just addition, and for professionals. Getting skilled with AI isn't a nice to have anymore. It's fundamental. It's table stakes now. You need to build that competence starting today. Because if you don't, the person sitting next to you almost certainly will.
AI is the tool. You are the value. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
So let's leave everyone with a final thought, something practical to chew on. What is one specific repetitive task you do regularly? Maybe it's compiling a certain report, setting up the same kind of meeting invite, drafting a complex but recurring email. What's one thing you could try to automate, even partially, using AI this week? The goal. Free up even just an hour or two for higher value work, for those judgment calls only you can make.
Definitely act on that thought. And if you need the practical playbooks, the tested use cases, the strategic frameworks to actually make these changes stick, then seriously consider subscribing to the AI Opportune newsletter. They focus on delivering exactly that kind of actionable intelligence to help you build smarter together.
Excellent. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.